Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are in a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com.
The recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
I am tremendous, which is a word that I use a lot. I'm reminded backstage, you use tremendous a lot. And I say, well, I work with a bunch of motherfucking tremendous people.
I really thought you were going to say, well, you motherfucker slapped the leg a bunch. And then I realized, it's not Jim Ross's podcast. It's Tony Schiavone's. Hey, head over to buttsandseatscomic.com and you'll see a victory lap. Tony, are you overwhelmed with the response? You had like a 30-day goal of, man, can we get to 20,000?
Yeah.
And like, as we're recording, almost all of your stretch goal, your tippy top goal done. By the time this airs, it's probably happened. This has been an overwhelming response. What's your take here?
Well, a couple of things. I am overwhelmed. I really am. You told me years ago that, hey, you got a big fan base out there and they really miss you. And I went, fuck that. I want to do baseball. And then you kept at it and we kept at this, and AEW came along, and certainly with this and AEW ad-free shows, my life's really changed. And then it was kind of solidified that, I guess there is some interest in my story. When Butts and Seats came out, the comic has not yet been published, but the pre-orders came out on Kickstarter. And there's a number that Mike Dawkins gave me that we're very close to, that if we hit that, we're going to become the biggest Kickstarter wrestling graphic novel in Kickstarter ever, which is amazing.
Well, here's a spoiler. The record that was set in that space, they needed the whole month to do, and you're like brushing up against it in under a week. So
yeah.
It's pretty remarkable, the response, and it's all because of you guys listening to this. And I know it means a lot to Tony. You know, he loves these fucking cartoons and comic books and make-believe fantasy stuff. And that's what this is. You know, we're going to memorialize and make Tony Schiavone seem cooler than he really is, which is what we've been doing here on What Happened When for a long time. But this time it's drawn with colored pencils and whatnot. So it's pretty cool, especially if you're a slapdick like Tony Schiavone. Tony, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Why, you and I have not talked about this at all. So I'm just going to put you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you ask me to write the foreword? I was sort of taken back. Like, why wouldn't he ask, like, you know, a wrestling person? Like, you refer to me as a hell person. Why am I writing the foreword? I was glad to do. I was honored to do it. It was my great privilege to do it. I don't know if you read what I wrote, but I jumped at the chance to do it. But Why am I doing that?
Well, I need to clear up something. I don't think I've ever called you a hell person. I've called you a motherfucker and a shithead.
Yes.
And
my apologies.
And a dipshit and a cocksucker.
Right. All those. You're right.
All those. Yeah. With affection.
Yeah. You and the Patriot. We got something for him later. Go ahead though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm not in the loop on that, but I'm all in. But listen, I'm serious about this when I say you are the one that got me going again. If it wasn't for you, I don't think any of this would have been happened. I think I would still be doing baseball. Well, probably not baseball because we didn't have baseball last year. I'd be broke. Put it that way. I wouldn't have this house, wouldn't have the bat cave. I wouldn't have all the things that I have right now without you jump starting things. So yeah, I mean, I've said this many times that you. I mean, when I name the important people in my life and my career, if you'll indulge me here a little bit,
sure.
I'll start with Al Charles, who hired me right out of college and gave me. I don't know if he gave me my work ethic, but he inspired my work ethic. I'll go with obviously Jim Crockett, Francis Crockett, and Jim Crockett, the Crockett family. I'll go with you, Tony Khan, and I'll go with Bruce and the guys at the WWE who helped me with who gave me that spark of God. I sound like I'm getting an award here. Who helped me with the spark of learning production and being a producer, and then obviously Cody and Tony Khan for bringing me. And I can't, I mean, there are so many people, Flair, Dusty, that are instrumental in my life. JR, really. So, but so there's a lot of people. So, but I mean, you restarted this. You kickstarted this. So yeah, why not? And I thought, well, he can probably write. I've never seen you write anything before, so you could probably put a few words down. I know you can talk. You can run your mouth.
I can.
So I thought maybe he can write. So yeah. So why not you? Why not you? And as you said, why not you on these, as you just said, fucking comics and cartoons?
I knew that would get a response out of you, but
yeah.
Well, listen, I appreciate it, man. It's pretty cool. I don't know that I'm a good writer, and I don't think I am, but I wrote a pitch good enough to you to get you to start doing this show, so it can't be all that bad. Yeah,
if in fact you did write it, you had somebody write that for you. But I was also, you also are in the comic. I don't know if you've seen your caricature or not.
Yeah, I mean, how about you guys put me on the keto diet, which is kind of cool. I mean, when you're too fat for cartoons, I mean, you've really done something.
We also have a variable cover that I don't think you've seen yet because I just saw it the other day.
I haven't.
They asked me what is my favorite comic book cover of all time, and I was very quick to point out a Captain America from, I don't know, it was probably in the 60s. So they redid that cover with me in place of Captain America and Bug running with me. And it was like the most fantastic thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm glad you liked it.
And so that's going to go in the Batcave. And so there's a lot of great things going on. We have a great team assembled. We really do. Yeah. And I've got to give Silva some props too.
What? No, behind the scenes, you bury Silva every chance you get. You say nothing happening. He's terrible.
Yeah.
We should fire him. I mean, you've never given him a compliment privately. Why would you change that publicly?
Well, stand by for the compliment.
Okay.
He was with us on all the Zooms, and it was pretty cool because he would laugh at our jokes and then sleep through the rest of it.
Right. Okay.
So he kept us entertained.
Sure.
So, and Drina Joe, Dirk Manning, and of course, hey, Mike Dawkins is the one that said, "Hey, you want to do a comic book?" I went, "Fucking A."
Yeah, I feel like you're really celebrating the Kickstarter success a little early because this was Mike Dawkins' idea, but usually his idea come with billable quarter hours. So I think on the other end, you might actually be upside down. You might be funding this yourself.
Well, then that cocksucker will get a visit from me.
You know,
and I'll bill him a quarter hour.
I can't wait until, his passion. This is a real story. He got a ride from, or he gave a ride to Cassio Kid when we were interviewing Mr. Crockett. So in order to interview Mr. Crockett, we met him in South Carolina, which is where he's from. So we went to the town he was in and rented an Airbnb. We didn't want to rent a hotel and perhaps worry about some sort of COVID situation. All of my guys were COVID tested beforehand. We did temperature checks. We tried to do it professionally because we knew Mr. Crockett's at an advanced age.
Mm-hmm.
And either way, the night before, we're getting everything set up. And somebody says, well, hey, who brought beer? Do we have anything to drink? Do we have vodka? Do we have water? Do we have Coke Zero? Do we have anything to drink? And of course, none of us thought to do anything in that regard. So we had tap water. So Dawkins said, okay, I'll fix that. So he jumped in the truck and said, Cassio, come ride with me. And they went to the store to grab some things.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as they get in, Dawkins turns the radio on and it's show tunes, one after another. And he's not just making Cassio listen to these show tunes, these musicals and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's singing along every single word.
Oh, yeah.
And Cassio is live texting me. I ain't gonna believe this shit. You just sent a gimmick attorney on a beer run, and we're listening to Oklahoma. And I'm replying, ? Who are they playing? Because I'm thinking he's listening to play-by-play of some basketball game. No. So yeah, I think next we should have a Tony Schiavone musical.
Okay.
I don't know if you watch very much Curb Your Enthusiasm, but he did a musical, and I think it would be really, really fun if there was a Tony Schiavone musical, and that was our next thing.
Oh, I'm all in because I love musicals too. Now, I don't think I'm the singer that Mike Dawkins thinks he is.
Well, see, that doesn't matter because we know that you're not the commentator that you think you are. But if you fake it till you make it, it's confidence that's key,
Yeah. How about a musical about me? Okay. And the only line I have to sing is, "That's right, JR."
And it's Sting.
It's Sting.
It'd be tremendous. Hey, one more thing before we get rolling. We know that the Peacock transition has started. The network is still working for us, so we're still on track for 86, in case you were wondering. But I did want to acknowledge right at the top, somebody in our family had a very, very big week this past week. Mr. Eric Bischoff has been immortalized in the WWE Hall of Fame. He'll be joining as part of the 2021 class. As far as I know, the NWO was a part of the 2020 class, which we didn't get the actual ceremony, but I assume we will at some point this WrestleMania weekend. But more importantly, Eric Bischoff's going in, and not as a part of a group, as a single, as a solo. And I think it's long overdue, man. His contributions to business or to the business have just been tremendous. And I know that the haters, the naysayers, if you will say, well, it went out of business. Well, so did every other promotion, Jackleg. I mean, it's just, that's the way, unless you're Vince McMahon, they all went out of business. And of course, somebody would say, well, Impact is still in business. Yeah, well, multiple owners. It's not the same thing. And I don't even know if you would call them in their current incarnation still in business. I mean, I guess technically they are. And so is technically Ring of Honor. But again, is anybody comparing Ring of Honor to WCW? No. I don't know how you could discount his contributions with Nitro and the NWO. And by the way, forget all that. He was one fantastic on-screen character, both WCW and the WWE. And I'm excited that he's in, Tony. What was your reaction when you heard that Eric was going into the Hall of Fame?
I found out late last night, and I know he's in Wyoming, so I didn't have a chance to text him, but I am going to text him today when we finish and talk to him about this or chat with him about this. I mean, Eric has, you think about how great the 90s were for wrestling. He was there. He was the man that started this.
Right.
He was the man that started the war. Vince would have never started the war. He would have completely ignored us. And so Eric is responsible for all of that. And yeah, he's way overdue. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He should have been in the Hall of Fame a long, long time ago. And I think it's great that they recognize him. I think back to when they let him go, how terrible of a thing that was, but how well he handled it.
Right.
He handled it with dignity and class, unlike I would have. So yeah. And, we've gotten to know Eric. And I knew Eric before he became the boss of WCW. I knew how great a guy he was. You found out how great a guy he was.
Yeah.
I think of everybody that's involved in ad-free shows with you, he's probably the most involved of all of us.
Oh, for sure. He loves it. He loves the fans.
Right. And so that, hang on a second. It's Conrad. Text me. I just think it's a wonderful story. Congratulations to him. Well deserved. He deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame along with JR and others who have been in there who were non-wrestlers. And I think it's great. Are they going to have a ceremony?
Yeah, as far as I understand, they will.
Good.
I'm not exactly sure that they're selling tickets for it this year. I think it might be different because they just put WrestleMania tickets on sale. I haven't seen anything about a Hall of Fame ticket being on sale, but usually at WrestleMania, Tony, they at least bring out the inductees and everybody waves. So
right.
I assume he'll get the old wave for sure. I'm really happy that he's getting recognized, and I think it's important. And when you look around at everybody that I do podcasts with, I mean, it's just down to you and Bruce who don't have the Hall of Fame rings, and I don't think Bruce is going to be in line to get one while he's still working there.
Right.
And I don't know that you're probably going to be eligible to get one while you're still working for AEW. So,
well, can I add something to that?
I don't want to go in, you motherfucker.
Exactly.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. But you know what? Here's the thing.
It's in my will.
You don't have, well, I understand that. But do you know how much influence I have over those Jobber Shivani kids you got? I mean, those Howl at the Moon kids, if I say, listen, I can sell them on shit.
Why you sell anybody on shit?
Ask Laura, because I'm full of good ideas for the Shivani household. Yeah. This would be a good idea for the Shivani household.
Let's not talk about me in the Hall of Fame. Let's talk about Eric. I ain't going to that fucking Hall of Fame. End of story. Don't want to go.
So wait a minute. Oh, it's so great for Eric. Fuck it for me though.
No. You know the issue. The issue is, would it be right for me to go in before Bob Caudle or Lance Russell? No, it would not be. It would not be. That's the story.
Well, Coco Beware went in before Eric Bischoff.
That was wrong. So
everybody has to do it in the right. It doesn't matter if you get what's coming to you. It matters the order it happens in. Got it.
For me, it does. Not for everybody.
Well, Sully's in. JR's in.
Well, yes, and deservedly so. But they're Ed Capral, Freddie Miller, Roger Kent.
Let me give you a spoiler. Freddie Miller ain't going in.
I know that.
But here's the thing on Bob.
His toupee's going in though.
I don't mean this to be ugly or dismissive or rude. It was a television program for a long time. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be this year, but by and large, it's been a TV program.
Oh, I know.
And if you're in poor health, they don't want to necessarily have that on TV. So I think Caudle will go in. I just think he'll go in posthumously.
Okay. Well, anyway,
and
congratulations to Eric Bischoff. Anything else? You need
the Patriots a motherfucker. Other than that, I'm ready to go and talk.
Okay.
About 22nd, 1986 World Championship Wrestling. We're still here. Can you believe it? What are you laughing about?
The Patriots a motherfucker. Let's go to World Championship. Whoa, hang on. Put the brakes on that car. Pump them brakes, as they say. Why is he the motherfucker? I'm so glad I'm not active. I'm so glad I got my daughter doing my tweeting for me.
Sure.
So I don't have to see this bullshit, because every time I see it, there's something that pisses me off.
So Dale Wilkes is the guy who used to play the Patriot.
Right.
And I think he sold that gimmick somewhere along the way, and he's selling a lot of things at a Nissan dealer in South Carolina. And he watched Dark Side of the Ring the other day. Dark Side of the Ring Confidential, which I host every Tuesday night on Vice, channel 271 on DirecTV, and he was pretty critical of my coverage of the topic. And he said, basically that I was as exciting as a corpse, and that I was a fat bearded lady who was only where I was because I married Ric Flair's daughter or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And so I fired back, and I had some zingers that would have made you really, really proud. And, of course, our listeners just murdered him. And I had a lot of fun that morning. I was sitting in traffic court waiting for my turn. So I was irritated to be 4 counties away in traffic court. And I had time, as the kids say. I had time. So I just doubled down. So like, one of our listeners said, hey, maybe you and Bruce can do a jobber episode and talk about the Patriots career. And I said, buddy, we could go long form on his career on a TikTok. And then somebody said, hey, maybe we should book you versus the Patriot at the Tokyo Dome. And I said, no, I only work with top guys. He doesn't get work at all. And then somebody was like, can we confirm this is the real Patriot? I haven't heard of him. I haven't seen him in a long time. And I said, in fact, no one's seen him since 1997. Just on and on and on. But I mean, the thing that probably got the most traction was a fellow named Anthony says, I can't decide which part of his post is the most insulting, but of all of it, I think the insinuation that you somehow married into your success after all the work you've done is probably the rudest. And I quote tweeted it and said, every loser who's unhappy with his lot in life has an excuse as to why they're not as successful as somebody else. It's easier than being positive and outworking everyone else. So I pay that nonsense no mind whatsoever. But I did have a lot of time poking fun at him. And, he also bragged, by the way, that he has a podcast that 1 million people a week listen to. And with a little help from Maury Povich, we were able to prove that that was a lie. We pulled up a Twitch channel that he does. And last week's episode had 5 viewers. And this week's had 1. 3 weeks ago was an all-time high. He had 93 viewers. So, yeah. And then, of course, a lot of people were like, you must not want a good deal on a mortgage. And I replied, do you really think the Patriot's a homeowner? Probably not. And some people wanted to know, where does the heat originate from? And I said, well, I make money in wrestling. He does not. So, we just had a lot of fun. And here's the thing, by the way, I've always been complimentary of the Patriots, still am. His stuff with Bret Hart in 97 was really, really entertaining. It's a shame that his career was cut short, whether it was self-imposed or not. But he has gone on to be successful after wrestling, and he really is doing well for himself. He sells Nissans in South Carolina. I'm not poking fun at that. I sell mortgages. I mean, my title on Twitter is Conrad the Mortgage Guy. So we have a lot in common. We both love wrestling. We both love sales. I'm just a little better at Twitter than he is. That's the biggest difference, probably.
Yeah. Well, I never had a problem with Dell, but fuck him.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Life already has. So I felt like I should probably just stop piling on. And maybe now we can talk a little World Championship Wrestling for March 22nd, 1986. Tony, I'm ready to go on my end. Do you have a special countdown for us this week?
Yes, I do have a special countdown for us this week, but I'd also like to say that just to pile some more shit on this because I'm loving it.
Yeah, sure.
When I go rent a car, and at the counter, they say, would you like a Nissan? I go, fuck no. I do. Hate them. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, God.
How about Sam Houston and Black Bart getting the hot open?
Well, they switched the title.
Yeah, but did anybody care about the Mid-Atlantic title by this point, really?
Oh, the people in the Carolinas and Virginia did. It was still important to them.
I'm just saying on this particular, we see it all the time on the syndicated show, but
right.
we don't see it on this show hardly ever.
No, we had some great Mid-Atlantic champions in the past. Look at those guys talk.
The very best in professional wrestling, World Championship Wrestling. I'm David Crockett. Tony, we've got an exciting program for the people. Number one, the World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair is here.
That is right.
Also, Tony, we have a new Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion.
That's exactly right. Bart is the new Mid-Atlantic champion defeating Sam Houston. We'll take a look at how that happened right here today on World Championship Wrestling. And we've talked a lot about the tournament, tag team tournament at the Superdome for the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup. You already know the top 10 seeds. We're going to tell you all 24 teams right here today on World Championship Wrestling. And David, a man is here.
Oh,
yes. A man coming out here week and week saying, where is Wahoo McDaniel? That, of course, is gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Well, Wahoo's here.
That's right. The Indian is here, Wahoo, and he has his chops with him.
That's right. All the top stars of the NWA are here. Let's bring in a couple of them right now to talk with us at this time. Pandemonium for these two, the Rock and Roll Express.
That's right. When you look at that big tournament, one of the biggest tournaments in history, will be at Owens, the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup. And I'd like to say we were already in the top 10. We're looking forward to going in there, maybe win that $1 million, Tony.
That's right, Tony. You know, and when the seedings come out, Jimmy Cornette, him and this Midnight Express might not be the World Tag Team Champions when they come around. Cornette, you have snuck your way out a couple of times, but remember, Rock and Roll is right behind you. And Ric Flair. Ric Flair comes out here, Tony, time and time again, putting down the rock and roll, all the nice people that stand behind us, talking about all his pretty women. I know Ric Flair has a lot of women around him a lot of times.
No.
To keep him company while he falls asleep. But let me tell you something, Flair. If you got something to say to the Rock and Roll Express, you come out and say it to us, not to these nice people. Woo, we'll be looking forward to seeing you.
All right, the Rock and Roll Express, we're ready with action. Let's go to the ring.
Boy, I love the Rock and Roll Express.
A lot of things really to talk about there.
First of all, let's start with Robert Gibson.
Yeah, Robert didn't have the personality.
No, I mean, first of all, you could have done a better job putting the fucking mic near his mouth. He could have also leaned into it a little bit.
Well, thanks.
And maybe talked a little louder. I mean,
okay.
It's almost like he's Dango Boomhauer, man. Remember that on King of the Hill? And then Ricky Morton, my goodness. Oh, look, Boogie Woogie.
Dog, my dog bigger than yours. Hey, did anybody see the weasel today, baby?
I don't know. I don't think.
Will you tell us Boogie Woogie Man is here?
And then he hammered Flair with a great line.
Oh yeah, or keep him company while he falls asleep.
And then we saw Miss Alabama.
Oh, that was her with the hair?
That was her, yep. That's her down to front. You'll see her here she's beside the lady with the yellow shirt right at ringside. So anyway, so here we're off and running, man, and we got Wahoo McDaniel coming back today, which is a big deal. We got a new Mid-Atlantic champion. We are obviously going to hear from Jim Cornette, and we're going to announce all the teams, the Jim Crockett Cup, and that's a pretty big deal, man.
Boogie Woogie wrestles like a heel.
Oh yeah, he always has.
I mean, he's a babyface, but he's running guys into the ring post.
Right. No, he always did that, and he'll tell the referee, look at the back, like check the trunks, and then he'll put a thumb in the throat. That was one of his things. He always did that way.
Oh, and a back rake. That's a heel move.
Yeah, it's all heel. Well, the Valiant brothers, a poke to the eyes. Right. The Valiant brothers.
He's a heel.
Well, the Valiant brothers are heels, right?
But how is he supposed to be a babyface if all of his moveset
because of the way he was, his rap, his interview made him a babyface. And he always felt good, and he always clapped, and he always, was cool. And there you go. He's pulling the hair. He's gouging. Look at that. What the fuck?
Terrible.
He was the Boogie Woogie Man, buddy. He was different, right? I mean, what are you
How about this? I wouldn't have booked him at all.
Well, there you go.
Boogie don't hit for me.
And that's what he and Del Wilkes have in common.
No. Boogie was a draw.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Patriot was not.
No. These days, literally, he performs for free every week. And I mean, this past week, one person showed up.
Huh.
You know, I mean, listen, lots of people have worked indie shows in front of a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen people. Have you ever worked one for one person? I mean, that's where Dale is these days.
Yeah.
Oh,
here we go.
Gosh, here we go. Taz Jr. or Senior, as it were.
Today, and where Ric Flair is, you can be sure this man is going to be right after him. Man with the hands of stone, Ron Garvin.
Well, you said that right, Tony. Wherever Ric Flair is going to be, Ronnie Garvin's going to be. And I'm not going to quit. Now, you know, we've been around the country. We fought like cats and dogs. We won the time limit, the 60-minute man, Ric Flair. Well, you said you were 60-minute, and somehow you managed to hang in there for 60 minutes. We fought all over the buildings, all over the floor. You keep running. Well, there's only one way to settle this. Very plain and sweet. No big deal, just a cage. Well, everybody knows that cage is the most dangerous type of match there is in professional wrestling because there's no rules. But there's one thing that I like about a cage match. There's one thing I like about the cage idea is it keeps outside interference, and it's going to keep Ric Flair right in the middle of the ring where you can't run. It's going to be you and I. That's all I've got to say. That's all Ric Flair needs to know. Him and I. He's going to have to face me.
All right, Ron Garvin talking to the world champion. It's your boy Ric Flair. We're coming right back.
That wasn't as bad. I feel like his promos are pretty hit or miss.
Yeah, you're right.
Some weeks they're fantastic. Other weeks it's like, well, we filled our time. Here we go.
At the top of the program, they saw Sam Houston battling it out with Black Bart. Sam Houston was a very good Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion, but he lost out to the bad man from Texas.
Black Bart came right here on this program, said he was going to become the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion. Let's show you how he became that champion.
Here's Sam Houston now trying to come back as he tries to fight his way out of the corner. Bart across the ring to the turnbuckle in the corner. The referee. Does the referee have scissors here, Bob? Yeah, he had scissors. He's down four. He's got it. He's got it down. The referee's been knocked down. He could have counted us. He had him there for the count. I know he would have gone. He bulldogged him coming over the ropes. Another count of 10. He's had him down for the 10 count at least twice. The referee's still out. The referee don't know what's going on. Hey, Houston out of the ring. Black Bart with a desperation move that really pays off for him because Sam really struck his head. Sam had it down a couple of times for a count. He could have counted to 10. There's a 300-pound monster Bart. He's as really groggy. Sam has done a remarkable effort in this match. Can he get back in the ring? The referee looking all around the ring now, looking for Sam Houston. Here comes Sam, trying to get back in. Grabs the rope. On him. 300 pounds back down on the back of Sam's neck. I tell you, the turn of events against Sam Houston has just been amazing. Just amazing, because Houston let him down for at least a 10 count twice. That's right. That's what I mean by I said earlier, anything can happen. We've got a new Mid-Atlantic champion.
All right, Tony, as you can see, Black Bart was a beaten man several times by Sam Houston, but, the tide went his way.
And he is the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion. Speaking of champions.
Speaking of champions, it's still the biggest miscarriage in the history of professional sports that we were not the number one seeded team in the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup. You know who it went to, Tony?
Yes,
the Road Warriors. They seed the world champions number 3, and they seed those two goofs number 1. Probably the only person around here would remember to be Charlie McGowan in the World Championship Wrestling office, but once upon a time, dinosaurs ruled the earth. And they were about 60 or 70 feet tall, and they weighed about 4 or 5 tons, and they were the strongest things that had ever been seen
and they had a brain about the size of a walnut, just like that. And that's the same thing the Road Warriors are. $1 million bodies and 10-cent brains. You realize they did a brain scan on the Road Warriors one time. You know, the thing is supposed to go blip, blip, blip. You know what they came out with? They got a test pattern that said off the air. That's what they came up with, Tony, because the Road Warriors are goose. And Paul Ellering, you weren't manager of the year last year. I was. That means I got more on the ball than you. And in that cup, you realize we are in the bracket with the Road Warriors. We got to get by them before we get to the finals. So something is going to be settled one way or the other. We just might possibly meet. And then the Rock and Roll Express, you're in that tournament too, Rock and Roll. And believe me, we ain't forgot about you. You can try to put me in a cage. You can try to put me on the next space shuttle or the next rocket to Mars. But the fact of the matter is, you are never again going to be the World Tag Team Champions because you're a couple of stinking, nappy-headed little punks. And I don't care how many teeny boppers you got yelling for you. I manage some real men, and everybody knows it. So Rock and Roll, you try your best in that tournament. Maybe they'll give you a cup about this tall for being goose, because we are going to win that Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup. And then, just because Jim Crockett, he probably had something to do with us getting seated number 3, trying to keep us down because we're not nice enough to be representing his cup. Well, we're going to change it after that, and we're going to call it the Jim Cornette Cup. And every year, we're going to hold it in my mama's living room. And the featured attraction is going to be the greatest team ever in professional wrestling, the World Tag Team Champions, Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express.
Can anybody cut a promo like that, man?
I was thinking the same thing. What a major fucking talent.
He's unbelievable.
What a major fucking talent. And what a great mind for the business. Just look at Ray Traylor, buddy. Soon to be his bodyguard in this match. Also, I wanted to say there was something else from the Rock and Roll Express interview that we had.
Yeah.
They had 2 pretty good looking T-shirts on, didn't they?
They did.
Don't think we sold them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, sure. I don't want to, I shouldn't say that, but it just, I don't know. To me, it's just like a neon sign flashing.
No, you're exactly right. And by the way, Crockett agreed. Everybody has probably seen that now with our interview with Jim Crockett over at adfreeshows.com. He said 2 things. You know, he was too arrogant to think that he could handle it all. He wishes in hindsight he would have gone out. Oh, wow. We've got Jim Cornette doing commentary. Let's try it.
Okay.
You and David, I don't even want to talk about you because I could go on all day. We should be the #1 seeded team because we're the World Tag Team Champions. Anybody that wears those belts signifies that that's the best team that has ever stepped in a wrestling ring. You got it. Then look at this guy. He's got more large than the Crisco people. That's the fattest goof I've ever seen in my life. We should be, Tony, the #1 team. Even you, David, can't come up with a simple argument why we shouldn't, because we are the champions and we do have the belts. We beat the Rock and Roll.
How about him saying the big boss man had more lard than the Crisco company? That was a good line.
That was a good. I also like the line on his interview when he talked about Charlie McGowan. Yeah. Charlie was, had some age on him, was always the bell ringer at the Omni, helped put up the ring, and Scrappy McGowan was his son. Don't think Charlie's with us. I don't know. He could be, but that was a long time ago. And he said Charlie remembers the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I just like how he jabbed Charlie, which was good. And now that I think about it, I never understood why Scrappy really didn't work TV that much, if he did at all. He always worked the Omni, and he was a good referee. I don't know why they didn't book him here, because they booked Pee-wee a lot, as we know. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. That's another story. Maybe there's a reason that we can uncover one day, but not today. But they want Big Bubba to come in. It was during this year that he became Big Bubba, right? Because they went to Starrcade.
Yeah, by Starrcade, he is Big Bubba,
right? Because he was going to catch Jim Cornette, and he didn't.
Of course.
And I was sitting right there, looking right up, and I knew, ain't no fucking way, ain't no way. And you could even tell that he was thinking, I can't catch him, because Jim was a rather large guy,
right?
I'm not saying fat, but he was,
yeah,
but he was big. Big guy. It would be like Casio trying to catch you.
That's not happening.
No, it's not happening. And I knew it wasn't going to happen. And
I love that. I think Bubba's line was, you got lost in the lights. I couldn't see you.
Yeah.
It's just kind of fun when you think about it.
I used to go golfing with Ray back in the day.
I never took him as a golfer.
There was, let's see, it was me, Ray Traylor, Kip Fry, and somebody else. Maybe Zabisco was golfing with us. And we got into the woods, and Ray hit a ball into the woods, and Ray said he said, I don't know what to do with this ball. And I said, just rear back and hit it as hard as you fucking can. Okay. With trees all around. So the three of us sprinted out of the woods because we thought that big old boy's going to crank it and hit a tree. And it's going to ricochet, hit one of us in the head. We're at this golf course where there's nice houses lined through there. And, so we run out and he goes, you see his club go up and then you hear whack, just real hard. And I said, oh shit, he hit a tree. And Kip Fry said, or he cracked a baby's skull in one of those houses. We laughed a long time about that. But Ray finally got out of the woods and went golfing with us a number of times. He wasn't the greatest. Well, I was horrible, but he wasn't the greatest golfer. But when you go out with a bunch of guys, Kip was pretty good. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's just having fun, and he was a great conversational. Here we go. Look at this. Bobby.
Right in the chin.
Bobby.
And Bobby again.
There were some times that Bobby would come over to us. I think you've seen him come over and high five us at times. I think there was a couple of times he came over us, told us hit him. He said he would hold the guy out and he said, here, hit him. And we wouldn't do it. just silly stuff, man.
That's funny.
Yeah. Look at him brushing off his butt. See, that's Bobby Eaton being the good guy. Jim Cornette used to say, he said we would stop at a convenience store or something.
All right. And
Bobby would see a homeless person out there. He said he'd give him money. He put his arm around him and ask him what his name was, how he was doing, could he help him out. And that's what type of guy Bobby Eaton was and is.
Right.
Look how far he's got to go. Okay, they're going to both do it.
That's it. That is it. Pending.
Pat him on the back.
Anything away from this team at all, David? The World Tag Team Champions.
What do you think of Cornette's Christmas outfit?
Oh, I love it. I love every type of color they could come up with. Oh, my God. Good stuff. Good fucking stuff. Who are we going to talk to here now? I mean, we always got somebody on at the beginning, don't we?
There we go.
Yep.
Tony, the greatest teams in the world are going to New Orleans for the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup. 24 teams. 24 of the best teams in the world from all over the world. And Tony, you've got it there and read them because it's a who's who of wrestling.
You've already seen the top 10 seeds. I'll tell you the top 10 seeds once again. The Road Warriors, number 1. Magnum T.A, Ron Garvin, a great team, number 2. The Midnight Express will be the 3rd seed. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard will be the 4th seed. The team from Canada, Rick Martel, former AWA heavyweight champion, and Dino Bravo will be the 5th seed. The Rock and Roll Express, the 6th seed. From Japan, the 7th seed Tiger Mask and the Giant Baba will be at the tournament. Also, the 8th seed from Russia, Ivan and Nikita Koloff. The Kiwi Sheep Herders from New Zealand, the number 9 seed. And Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death Steve Williams will be the 10th seed. However, there are 14 more teams.
That's right. And these teams are something. You think the top 10, now listen to this.
Okay. American Indian team, Chief Wahoo McDaniel and Mark Youngblood.
That's fantastic.
Oh, great team.
Good chops.
Black Bart, Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion, teaming up with gorgeous Jimmy Garvin with Precious. 2 great athletes right there. David, Hector, and Chavo Guerrero will be in this.
That's right. They're representing Latin America, and they're a fast, quick team, so they are offensive.
The team of the Barbarian and Baron Von Raschke will team up for this tournament. Also, the team of Mad Dog, Buzz Sawyer, and Rick Steiner. Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Vine and the Raging Bull. We've told you about that team already here today. The Fabulous Ones, Steve Kern and Stan Lane will be here, Dave.
Right, the Fabulous Ones, they represent Florida, and they are fast.
Also, we will have the Fantastics, Bobby Fulton, Tommy Rogers. They will be here.
Yeah, they represent Texas.
Also, Nelson Royal and Sam Houston, a fine team. Bill Dundee and Buddy Landell will be in this tournament, teaming up together. Also, from the Pacific Northwest, Bobby Jaggers and Mike Miller. The Batten Twins will be here from the Central States,
Yes.
David. Also, Coco Beware and the Italian Stallion, and Brett Wayne Sawyer and David Peterson. Those are the 14 remaining teams in this great one-day tournament for the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup and a $1 million added purse for the winner.
Hey, that's not all. Remember the other match. The World Heavyweight Champion, Ric Flair, is going to put his title on the line against the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Remember what Bill Watts said? He said, New Orleans, he's always wanted to see the title change hands in New Orleans.
Let's go to the ring.
Boy, you guys were just sort of filling time there, huh? That's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's old school. Should have had the graphics with it, reveal them. It would have made it a lot better. But I'd never seen the Fantastics wrestle or the Fabulous Ones wrestle live. So as a wrestling fan, I was really excited about that. Had never seen Bill Dundee. I had seen enough of Bobby Jaggers for a lifetime. Bobby was a funny guy, man. Dusty, I remember Dusty booked he and Dutch Mantell as the Kansas Jayhawks. I'm thinking it was before this. It may have been afterwards. I don't know. And I remember Dusty saying, the only reason I'm booking Bobby Jaggers is that he's so damn funny. He just keeps the locker room loose.
Right.
And he was funny. He was funny in a weird way. He would
How do you mean? Give me an example.
Okay. Because he never told the truth.
Okay.
and he and Dutch Mantell were tremendous because Dutch didn't like him at all. And I remember we drove around. We were I think we were working the Forum, and this is when I was ring announcing. And so we drove around LA, and I was the driver. We just drove around seeing the sights we had all day. And it was Tommy Young in the back seat with Dutch Mantell and me in the front seat and Bobby Jaggers riding shotgun. And we were just driving around. And Bobby would say, okay, you need to go down this road here. You'll see a couple of houses here. Like he knew LA, right? And Dutch would say, I guess you're Mr. fucking, you're Mr. fucking Rand McNally, aren't you? You sit up there, you lying cocksucker. He would just fucking berate Bobby. And Bobby it was like Dutch wasn't even talking. He was in his own zone. Okay. And I know this person, just making up shit as he went on, and everybody knew he was bullshitting, but it was so funny the way he did it. He would come to the baseball games at Crockett Park, and he would sit up with me, and he'd sit up with me in the radio booth, and he'd have a cigarette on the side of it. And I would say, man, don't smoke. And he would just smoke. He wouldn't pay attention to me. And he said, a kid downstairs just asked me where I got all these cut marks on my forehead, because Bobby had a lot of cut marks on his forehead. Bobby said, I told him I was in a car wreck. I said, you are so full of shit. But he was just a unique person. He couldn't tell the truth, and everybody knew he couldn't tell the truth, and he knew that they knew he was lying, and he just upped the ante. He was just an entertaining fucker, man. And he and Dutch Mantell together, well, that was a crew.
You tickled yourself.
I'm thinking of a line by Arn Anderson.
Do it.
He and Tully were working.
Oh, you're tickled.
I know it's not going to be as funny as I'm laughing about, but he and Tully were going to work with the Kansas Jayhawks. All right, let's listen to this. Maybe I'll settle down.
You were asking about Wahoo McDaniel. He is here today on World Championship Wrestling.
You're telling me he's here? I just chased that sneaky Indian all the way down the hall. I tried to get him to come out here and get in this ring with me. You have to excuse me. I kind of lost my breath. I chased him all the way out by the security building. Last I seen him, Wahoo McDaniel was running through the field over there behind the superstation. I mean, let me tell you now, the man is a coward. The man ain't got no guts at all. He's refused to owe my money. He sent back that case of beef jerky I sent him. I don't know why. The fact is this. I said it once, spray the air, baby, and I'm going to say it again. Wahoo McDaniel, you're the biggest coward I ever seen in my life. You know, it don't surprise me, though. It don't surprise me, that sneaky little Indian. He comes sneaking in here. I didn't know he was going to be here today. I done signed a match with another man, and I could have had a chance to sign a match with that sneaky Wahoo. But what happens? He comes sneaking around in here. I don't know if he's going to be out here, Tony. I'm telling you, you might ought to get a substitute Indian, because that Indian's out there in some field picking sand spurs out of his feet. I don't know. The fact is this, I just wish he's here, and I apologize to all my fans.
Don't worry, fans. Wahoo McDaniel will be here. We're coming right back.
Don't worry, fans. Wahoo McDaniel will be right here.
I like the term substitute Indian.
Substitute Indian was tremendous.
Tell you, as you know, Leo Burke just defeated Don Graves right here on this program. However, we understand and we saw Leo Burke execute a pile driver on Don Graves. Leo Burke was not aware that, of course, pile driver is illegal in the NWA. And we received a note from the promoters here today that Leo Burke has been disqualified. Don Graves will be the official winner of that match. Congratulations to Don Graves. Okay, exciting action awaits you in the ring.
I like that you still kept some continuity there. Hey, that was the rule. He didn't know the rule, but whatever.
All right.
He's disqualified. And I also like that you referred to the Crockett's as the promotioners.
Thank you for that. Look at Bill Mulkey here with a jersey on. I hope that we get another shot of that before he has to take it off.
Cannon Fodder Jones. My goodness.
So anyway, again, the greatest promos were cut backstage in the Crockett garage. The greatest promos, the local promos.
Right.
And Arn Anderson was booked. He and Tully were booked against the Kansas Jayhawks. This had to be 85. I think the Kansas Jayhawks were, I don't know. Maybe we'll go see Bobby Jaggers on this show. I don't know. And Arn Anderson says, so we asked Jim Crockett to book us some competitors for these World Tag Team Championships. And they booked us a flapjack wino and a man with a throw rug on his back.
That has always gotten you. You've told us that story before, but it still tickles you to this day. A throw rug on his back.
A flapjack wino and a throw rug on his back. And still today, sometimes I'll look at Arn and I say, hey, you flapjack wino. And he has no idea what I'm talking about.
No,
he has
he's
no idea.
Forgotten that line.
Just how he came up with this shit. How Arn Anderson came up with this. And he still does it today backstage in AEW. He still comes up with shit that just kills us.
And it makes no sense. But
no,
when he says it, it does.
Right.
We've even joked about it here. Boy, he was grinning like an anteater eating a burrito. What the fuck does that mean?
No. Yeah. Yeah. He called me one time. He called me, you swolled up fly by night. What the fuck?
That's funny.
Oh, the humor of Arn Anderson. Just amazing stuff. Amazing. Just amazing. And if we can get that, if we can get that henpecked son of a bitch to stay around for an extra day sometimes, maybe we can film him for ad-free shows. You know?
I would love that.
Yeah, but no, I got to go back home because Aaron's got me doing chores.
Oh, well, you know, if he listened to podcasts, you'd be in trouble. He didn't know how to listen to his own, so we don't have to worry about that.
Every time we get him on our Zoom together, you know, I know Aaron hooked us in.
Of course.
He can't.
No, we've that's not debated. I mean, Stan and I have to see it every week.
Yeah. So, I know you hook him with JR, and, you know, I helped JR with his equipment and everything. I helped Arn with his equipment too. But
That's what you are. You're an equipment helper.
I'm an equipment helper. JR said, "You think you think I can get this?" I said, "Shit, if Arn Anderson can get it, anybody can." And
I said the same thing to Kurt Angle. Kurt's like, "Man, I'm not very tech savvy." I said, "Hey, we got Arn Anderson to show." He said, "Oh, I'll be fine." I'm like, "Yeah, exactly." Mr. Anderson's kind of old school. I'm like, "Yeah, that's a way of putting it." Yeah.
He's telling me stories about, I don't know if he's told these stories on his podcast or not, about, and probably hasn't, when he was, an agent or a producer, as they went on to call it, backstage with the WWE, and they would have to type up these reports after the show. Well, Arn types with like this, one finger.
Yeah, one at a time. Yeah.
I told him, I said, Arn, I learned keyboarding when I was a senior in high school. You can pick it up if you want. It's repetition. That's all this is. And apparently he doesn't want to.
No.
Because anybody, I'm telling you, there's a thought out there that being tech savvy is just for smart guys like me.
That's not true.
No, it's for anybody who just wants to take the time to learn. Because a lot of times they have their own verbiage. They have their own, you got to learn the words.
You tell them, Tony.
Yeah, you got to be, if this is called a fernum, then you got to know what a fernum does. And when a guy says, hand me a fernum, you don't want to hand him a snavitz. You want to hand him a fernum.
Help me understand.
Okay.
How come you and Bruce both use fernum schnavitz? I understand it was a thing in the business, but tell me, when did you first hear fernum schnavitz?
1989, Pat Patterson.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah. Pat used those crazy words. He used Davids, fernum, snavitz. It just, would just substitute those words for any of them. Go out there and get the fernum and come back here, snavitz. And that's where I learned it. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought it may have been a wide wrestling thing. It was a Pat Patterson thing.
Yeah. And maybe when Pat Patterson was wrestling, maybe it was a wide wrestling thing back then. I don't know. But Pat was funny. There's the brain buster, buddy. And there she wrote.
You know what's coming up next, don't you?
Yeah, it's the American Dream.
I'm fired up about this.
I am too, man. And then we're going to see Wahoo chop a person down to size. So we got some pretty good shit.
I love when David teased his appearance. They said, Wahoo's here, and he brought his chops with him. It's fun.
The home of the greatest athletes in the world, and here's one of them, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Tony, you know that I just returned on a travel tour up in the Michigan area. Now, the Spartans, I want to tell them that I understand what they're feeling today because I've had a couple of titles taken away from me. You understand what I'm saying? So down the road, Baby Doll's not here. You know what Baby Doll is, Arn Anderson? She's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania right now at this very second. Personally bringing the cage in and putting up herself because tonight you're going to find out what it's all about when your leg cracks like a stick, like a piece of wood when it cracks. And everybody's here today. The Chief Wahoo McDaniel is here. Precious and Jimmy Garvin out here talking about Wahoo for week in, week out. Well, the big Indian is here, Jackson Brown, and it's going to be hot. Nature Boy Ric Flair, the Crimson City, New Orleans, Louisiana, is going to be the site. And they are started right now loading cars up. They are getting ready for tailgate parties. People are already headed that way because they know what's going to happen there in that big tournament. And let me say one other thing about Tully Blanchard, the national heavyweight title. There's no justice for thieves. You understand what I'm talking about, baby? So the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, say hello to my mama also out there. And Nature Boy Ric Flair, you know who the lady is to him? Everybody talks about all the ladies with Nature Boy Ric Flair. The real lady to him is that belt he wears around his waist. He sleeps with that belt. One of these nights he's going to crawl in just a little bit under the weather like he does every night of his life, and he's going to feel around for that thing. Don't worry if it's not there, because when you wake up in the morning, call me. When you call me in the morning, I'll be wearing it. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, looking forward to it. Who love me over there? I love you, and I love Miss Alabama. You know that. You know that. Look at all them children right there. This is strong. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and Ric Flair. The force, the greatest revenue force is now here with the Chief Wahoo McDaniel and all of us. America's team, Magnum T.A. Magnum T.A. is probably the most handsome man in the world besides myself.
The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Let's go to the ring.
Is it true whenever you take a blue chew and you walk in the bedroom, you're doing that chant? Hey, hey, hey.
I'm telling you,
That's how Lois knows.
Yeah, boy. How she knows to run. Every time I see Wahoo, I just think, man, what a fucking man's man.
Yes, sir.
And Wahoo and I were, I wouldn't say we were close, but we were very friendly. And in his later years, he became an agent. And he and I talked a lot and about wrestling, about what to do, what was right in his career. And I just, I would mark out every time he wanted to talk to me. I would sit there and fucking listen to him as long as he wanted to talk. And it was just because I was such a mark for Wahoo McDaniel growing up. But I got to see Karen recently. She came to an AEW event. It was great to see her. And
tremendous. And by the way, I should mention, she made a lot of Ric Flair's early robes, and nobody even talks about that. She's a talented person.
Yeah, she is. And still looks great, man. Really does. But man, was like one of those guys like Rick Steiner and Ming that you pick out guys you want to be in a fight with you. Those are the guys. And they're the legend. Do you know the legendary story about him walking for a case of beer? Have you heard that?
Yep.
I don't know. Do you know the particulars of that story? I just know he walked somewhere for a case of beer. That's all I know.
Supposedly miles.
Yeah, right.
There's also a guy who supposedly once chugged a quart of motor oil and all kinds of shit. Like, what?
Yeah.
But I mean, Flair says back in the day, Crown Royal was his drink. And I guess it was for a lot of the quote unquote top guys. Hey, who was that guy we just saw?
That was Dale Brown, head coach of LSU basketball.
There you go.
See, this is during the Final Four timers, Craig Sager too.
That's what I thought. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. That's Craig Sager before the crazy coats.
Well, you know what's funny is I thought that was him, and I was like, but he's wearing a regular blazer. So
right. Yeah, just if you didn't like Wahoo, to me meant wrestling. I just
to Flair too.
Oh yeah, one of the angles that I remember more than any was Flair and Wahoo for the Mid-Atlantic Championship, and Flair took a 2x4 and hit Wahoo in the head with it, and Wahoo came out all bandaged up, said the 2x4 had nails in it. It was a great angle. It was a great angle. And here we go.
Championship Wrestling back on the air. We welcome Craig Sager of TBS Sports. Craig, good to have you with us here today. I understand you have a special guest.
All right, Tony. I try to come up here every week and watch some of the wrestling, but today we have Dale Brown, the LSU basketball coach. Coach Brown, of course, has had a tremendous season, pulled a lot of the big upsets so far in this tournament. Coach Brown, thanks for being with us.
Greg, nice to be here. There was a basketball official a couple of years ago that did a real poor job at an LSU game. Do you know Nikita Koloff at all?
Yeah, I'm not real good friends with him, but I know him.
Could I recommend that this official come here to Atlanta and wrestle Nikita? Would that be possible?
Sure, I'm sure you'd love to see him too. You've seen Dusty Rhodes, you've seen Wahoo McDaniel. Some pretty good athletes out here.
Yeah, I'm amazed at their bodies and also their sincerity. In the short time I visited with them, and it's quite an experience. Somebody said, "Get them Tigers." Whoever. By the way, there's a guy over here that works for CNN. If I send him an LSU jersey, would he wear it the next wrestling match?
He might if you take that Florida one off. That's Tim Smith, one of the camera people.
Craig, I used to coach high school wrestling. Of all places in Columbus, North Dakota, a small town in the Canadian-Montana border. It was a coal mining and farming community, and they had no football. And in my collegiate career, I played football, basketball, and track, so I wasn't a wrestler. So I bought a book and a loop film, and I learned how to coach that way. And one day a guy had me in a hole when I was teaching him a pinning combination. And I said, wait a minute till I turn to page 36 to figure out how to counter it. So
good thing you went to basketball. Dale Brown, of course, congratulations on a great season, Tony.
Craig, Coach Brown, thank you very much for being with us here today on World Championship Wrestling. All the great stars of the NWA are here with us today. And we have, of course, all the top stars here today. We're going to bring out here in just a second one of the manager of, I know, 3 of the meanest men in the world, the man who says that he's going to increase that army. Here he is, Paul Jones, along with Baron Von Raschke and T. Joe Khan.
All right. we're gonna lay out for this.
Okay.
Let's unpack what happened right there.
Yeah,
because I feel like you were sort of in my mind's eye. You're over there thinking, "Okay, you fuckers, give me back the microphone. We've carried on enough here. We got to keep this thing going."
No, I thought, and I love those. I did. We had Tommy Lasorda came out one time. I really loved when Craig Sager brought people out. We didn't do a good job of promoting Craig Sager on TBS Sports. We should have done that. But again, that's promotion marketing that we were not that keen on.
Sorely lacking, yeah.
Sorely lacking, thank you. But Dale Brown gave a great interview, didn't he? Talking about the wrestlers, talking about Nikita and a referee. It was good stuff, man. He was
lower third, though, instead of saying LSU head basketball coach, it just says Coach LSU.
Yeah. No.
What sport? Water polo. Who gives a fuck?
And then he got on Tim Smith, and Tim was our camera. Tim was a cameraman all through the WCW era, all the way through. Big Florida Gator guy. Really, unlike most Florida Gator fans, he's a good guy. Most of them are shitheads.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. But Tim was good, and I'm glad he brought up Tim's name. Like Paul's saying, I got to take a shit, and I can't because I'm constipated, or something like that.
Is he wearing makeup?
I believe he is. We had makeup girls. They're going right in on the face.
Dude, that was a tight shot. He was look at Tony Khan's uncle, confused as to what to do there.
We'll be right back.
Hey, let's talk about your IFB. Who was in your ear there?
Tommy Edwards.
You almost said Tommy Young.
Yeah, almost Tommy Edwards.
Break the hold, Tony. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, Tony, break the hold. Would you just break it, Tony? Nah.
We had him at StarCast, and he didn't shut up, did he?
Oh God!
I put the microphone in front of him, and he told stories, man.
He was ready to roll.
He was ready to roll.
What a great guy!
Yeah, there should be more Tommy Youngs in the world.
You know, we should get him. Let's get him for one of our episodes here. You know, now that Peacock is going to ruin our momentum for a little while, I have gotten some inside baseball track that everything is going to be loaded. I wasn't sure if they were ever going to load all the old archival stuff, but it turns out they are. That's good.
And when are they going to do it? Like in 2028?
Boy, you just wake up this positive, or you have to really work at it?
Well, when it comes to the cock, I don't trust it.
Well, let's just move along there. I don't know.
Okay.
Say and not be ugly.
It's never stopped you before.
It's true, I guess. Ask Dale Wilkes. Hey, so
fuck him.
We're months into this now. Are you finally going to admit that you had a conversation with Tony and that Tejo?
Yeah, no, that's a lie. I was with Tony recently.
Yep.
Tony and I took a trip to Nashville, Tennessee, and I was with him recently. And I asked him if he ever heard of Tejo Khan. He said, "Oh yeah, no relation." I said, "Well, you know, there's a guy out there that says you are," and he said, "Is that Conrad Thompson?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I figured as much." So your bullshit is now spread. Everybody knows.
I love he guessed. Well, he knows we're trying to be entertaining.
Yeah, I know.
He don't give a shit. He thinks it's funny.
Yeah, it is. Boy. But
can you imagine if he was legit offended by that?
Oh yeah,
Tony, you're going to have a conversation with Conrad. He's got to quit telling people. Dad's upset. We don't even know it's Tejo. All the things to give a shit about. Like,
yeah. No.
But I'm telling you, I know that Tony is still Tony's an old school promoter, right? So,
oh yeah,
Tony's keeping kayfabe.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the family resemblance is uncanny. You put a picture of Tony Khan next to Tejo Khan.
No, it doesn't.
You can't deny that bloodline.
No, you can't. They don't look anything like.
You listen.
You're a lying piece of shit.
Dave Silva will hear this. Well, somebody who doesn't listen to our show, somebody will tell Dave Silva to put a fucking mohawk on Tony Khan. Identical.
Well, it'll give Dave Silva something to do this week.
And Tony Khan's been hitting the weights. I'm telling you, they got similar physiques. We're just one mohawk away from remaking twins.
Fuck. Oh, Jesus. You're so fun.
I love that he guessed. You know, people say there's a guy out there who says it's Conrad, isn't it? Yes. It's always Conrad. It's bullshit. It's probably Conrad.
Yeah, that's right.
I know how you handle me with your friends.
Common knowledge is what we call it. Common knowledge.
The other person who would have guessed that, by the way, would be Cody.
Yeah.
Cody would know. That sounds like some Conrad bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. Hey, did I tell you I got a missed? I'm terrible at voicemail sometimes because voicemail.
Yeah, I am too.
Well, here's the thing: voicemail is an old person thing,
right?
Like I know people, young people, they don't ever even set up a voicemail because now everybody just texts or emails, right?
Right.
So I had a voicemail from an Atlanta area code that I just missed, and I just assumed it was somebody trying to talk to me about my goddamn car warranty. You know, I get all these. Do you get all those spam calls about your extended car?
Oh yes, yeah, I do.
Let's get blown up by them. So I'm like, okay, it's nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
It was Michelle Reynolds.
Huh.
And she said, "Hey, David, I'm just calling to talk to you. I just heard the news about Jimmy. Someone passed her my number by mistake.
Wow.
Thinking that my number
was David's number.
Was David Crockett's.
So
I corrected that, but still I was like, I mean, it was probably a 2-week-old text message. I mean, voicemail by that point, because I just, who leaves me a voicemail?
Right. I mean, if you're like me, if you see a number, we know that person's called. You don't have to say, leave your message. Hey, I called. If I see your number, missed call, I know you've called.
Right.
And not only that, it's a good way to find out what's spam, what's not spam, because spammers don't leave messages.
Well, neither do young people.
Here comes Baron. Also, you let me give a plug here because they have been wonderful. The Conversations with Conrad.
Oh, thanks.
On ad-free shows.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I know you may have one coming up very soon. I'd like to go for that. I'd like to go out there for that. I'll fund my own way.
Well, we're driving. You can just ride with us. I don't fly anymore.
Okay, I'll ride with you.
Oh, here we go. Are you ready for this?
Hey, sing it out one time. Let's have a moment of silence. One moment of silence for all the college co-eds on spring break that happened to rendezvous with the Nature Boy last week in the great state of Florida, and right now wake up each morning wondering if there's life after Ric Flair. You understand, girls? Now, let's start this out with Ronnie Garvin. Hands of stone, the baddest apple of all. You see, Garvin, one thing that makes me the best is I thrive on the ultimate competition in the greatest sport of all, professional wrestling. That means when I walk out here, I'm not only custom made from head to toe. When I slide out of about $2,000 worth of clothes, you're looking at a man that can compete on any level. So, Garvin, you're a bad apple. I'm just this much better. I don't care if it's a cage. I don't care if it's Philadelphia. Tonight, I'm going to beat you half to death because I have to keep my baby by my side. Woo! Now, New Orleans, Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup. We all know what big time sports is about. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you like me or not, you're looking at an athlete that makes an excess of $1 million a year because I'm the best pro wrestler alive. But I have stepped out. I have stepped out of the tag team tournament to defend this, the most coveted trophy
in all of professional sports, the World's Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. And it goes on the line against Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. All right. The odds are right now, they're calling it all over the world. They're saying Ric Flair's going down in the Superdome. Well, Big Dust, I'm putting it all on the line with one connotation. This is your last shot. If you don't beat me in New Orleans, brother, you're never going to see anything but the backside of Ric Flair for a long, long time. Woo! One final note, girls. Come, keep it down. Ricky Morton, don't you ever walk out here with all your little teeny boppers and your training undergarments trying to assault a man that has wooed all of them from one end of this world to the other. In other words, Morton, the next time I see you, just like that. Woo!
Heavyweight champion of the world.
How about that, David Crockett, huh?
We're coming right back.
Oh man, look at Tony's uncle right there.
He was Flair was fired up there. Flair and Ricky Morton would wrestle at the Great American Bash in Charlotte later that summer.
How cool was the belt looking right there? And by the way, we're about to see something that we will be talking about for a long time. Here we go.
This member of the Airborne Ranger Unit prior to his years at East Tennessee State. He's one of the top pro wrestlers in the world. A very impressive pro wrestling background. I'm sure you're going to find him a tremendous athlete as well as a gentleman. And everybody here, welcome with me, Joe Nighthawk Coltrane, to the world of the NWA and the World Championship Wrestling. Joe, good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Simani. I'd like to say it's a great opportunity to be here in the National Wrestling Alliance. These are some of the greatest athletes in the world. I tell you, I'm proud to be here to represent my race and all the great wrestling fans all around the country. Like I said, these are some of the best athletes in the world. You take Dusty Rhodes, Magnum T.A., and Ric Flair. These guys will take a basketball player and tie him in knots. They'll take a football player and have him dead tired in 3 minutes flat. I mean, what can I say? These guys are professionals. They know their business. And, it's just great to be a part of it. And I like this fine city down here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm just glad.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Come on. Wait just a second. I've been listening to Joe College out there on the monitor. I've been standing in the back. I've been waiting to come out here and tell all the people how great my Midnight Express is. This is my interview time. I'm supposed to be out here. You got Joe College out here. Man, nobody cares what you got. Do you care what he's got to say? Nobody cares what you got to say, man. Just go on. Get on away from here, man. Get away from here, man. Nobody cares what you got to say.
Excuse me, Mr. Simani. I'm a little new around here, and I thought this was my interview time. I'd like to take this time to apologize to you. I'm a little sorry.
Okay, Joe, thank you very much. Joe Nighthawk Coltrane.
He took off. What? He left it. Oh, okay. Tony, it's nice to see you, Tony. I'll see you later. Let's go to the ring.
How terrible was that?
Yeah, it was terrible.
We're not done. There's going to be more of that in this same episode.
Wow.
So
I was looking up Joel Coltrane here, or Joe Coltrane. There's not much on him. Is there?
I want to mention, no, there's not a ton. Nighthawk is what you should be looking up.
Yeah, I looked up Nighthawk.
Yeah,
okay.
Some in there. We get questions about him on Arn's show every now and again, and he would just say he was a nice guy, but man, he wasn't there long.
No, he wasn't.
So later this night, you're going to be at the Philadelphia Civic Center. Following day, you'll be at the Memorial Auditorium in Greenville, South Carolina for a TV taping. That same day, you've got Bruiser Brodie challenging Ric Flair for the world title in Lincoln, Nebraska for Central States.
Wow.
You also see the double shot from JCP. As we mentioned, they were in Greenville for TV. They're also doing a show in Columbia, South Carolina at the Township Auditorium. On the 24th, we see some stars from the NWA here doing some shots in New Orleans with the UWF. There you would see the Rock and Rolls working with the Midnight Express, and Jim Duggan would be in there with Buzz Sawyer. Central States would also see Ric Flair and Bruiser Brodie in Wichita, Kansas on the 24th. You guys are back in Fayetteville, North Carolina at the Cumberland County War Memorial. On top, you've got Magnum T.A. and Nikita Koloff to a no contest in Fayetteville there. The following day, We're at Winthrop Coliseum in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And Flair is still on tour, this time taking on Dusty Rhodes in a steel cage in Portland, Oregon, which is obviously the Don Owens territory. And Raleigh, North Carolina hosts the crew on the 26th at Dorton Arena. The main event is Magnum T.A, Ricky and Robert taking on Jim Cornette, Bobby Eaton, and Dennis Condrey. How about that for a 6-man? Jim Cornette, part of the team.
That's great.
The Seattle Center Coliseum, again, another shot for Don Owens on top. This time it's not just Flair and Dusty. You also get the Road Warriors taking on Ivan and Nikita. The following day on the 27th, the tour continues. This time it's Flair defending against Coco Samoa. Not familiar with his work. But the Road Warriors are taking on the Russians in a steel cage match in the main event. Pretty good crowd there too, 5,400 fans. You're back at the Scope in Norfolk on the 27th. We've got Garvin working with Tully Blanchard, and the Midnights taking on Dusty Rhodes and Magnum T.A. Back in Richmond on the 28th, double shot there. I shouldn't say double shot. Flair still on tour, wrestling Barry Windham in Daytona Beach for Central Wrestling, or excuse me, the CWF. Jim Crockett Promotions, Championship Wrestling from Florida.
Right.
JCP, though, at the Coliseum, 10,000 folks would see Dusty team with Wahoo to take on Tully and Arn. And then the Road Warriors, again, in a cage match with the Russians. And then we're back here for TV. So all of that happened in one calendar week.
Wow.
You guys are all over the place, man. It really is remarkable to see that schedule.
One of my jobs in the office was we had pictures and we had, I wish I had them, press releases that I wrote up or bios on wrestlers that I wrote up. It wasn't much. And when we would go out to like Central States or go out to the Pacific Northwest, they would always have me call the promoters and say, can we send you anything for promotion? Pictures, black and white pictures for the newspaper or whatever. And so I got to talk to a lot of people. I specifically remember talking to Don Owens one time. And I asked him, I said, Mr. Owens, how's things going out there? He said, not good. He said, pretty soon I'm going to have to sell some of the heads of my cattle to be able to pay off the boys.
Oh, shit.
That's what he was just bitching about, business was down for him. And so, because we were national now, it helped his business out a great deal to send him out there.
Right.
Oh, boy, here we go again. That belt looks wonderful.
World heavyweight title bout, and here he is once again, the heavyweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Tony, it takes a lot of man to travel through this world. The greatest competition in the world in front of him each day, carrying $40,000 worth of gold, silver, diamonds, and rubies, and call himself the world champion. And this week, I'm headed to Portland, Seattle, Spokane. I'm going to be in Daytona Beach. I'm going to be in Wichita, Kansas, and I'm going to beat the best competition that each promoter in the country has. And now, Tony Schiavone, let's take a look at the team that you and I, as intelligent members of the professional wrestling family, know to be the odds-on favorite to win the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup. I'm talking about the world's heavyweight television champion and the national heavyweight champion, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, accompanied by the legendary, and you women out there know what I'm talking about, the legendary James J. Dillon. Woo! Let's go to a little action, huh, David Crockett? Okay.
Oh, no.
I thought I heard Arn yelling something there. How about this? TV champ and national champ. So they're not quite the tag champs, but they're all wearing the gold.
I remember that interview. And you know why I remember it?
Why?
Because he called me a member of the professional wrestling family on TV. And I remember thinking at that time, fuck, man, how great is my life? Because I had been a fan not too long ago. And now he called me an intelligent member of the professional wrestling family. And I'm thinking, man, I'm part of this family. So I didn't know, I had no idea what year that was, but I do remember him saying that. And so now we find out it's March 22nd of 86. It's a big deal for a little country mark like me, man. It really was.
That's pretty cool, man. Feel like what a great shot of him, by the way, with just the all black background.
Yeah.
It felt like it was like from a movie set or something.
Sure.
He's got the black suit on, but it's just absolute pitch black behind him, and he's holding the ropes, or holding the belts. That was cool stuff, man. I don't know why I like that, but I did.
I've got some ideas for ad-free shows.
Really, I'd love to hear them. Let's hear them right now.
Want to hear them right now? I thought maybe you want to hear them.
No.
We ought to go to the old TBS studios.
I would love to. When Jones went a few years ago, when it was first announced or revealed that AEW was going to be doing stuff over there,
right?
I was like, "Fuck, I hate you so much." I wanted to go to that,
right? And just go and record some stuff, and
I'm in,
and talk, and maybe we get David to join us.
Oh my gosh,
be great, wouldn't it? And I've got another silly idea. It's kind of a vanity project, so I don't really want to talk about it on the air because I don't want you to think ill of me.
Well, I'm going to do that no matter what, you see.
Yeah.
So fire off.
That's no one really realizes where I came from.
Craigsville, West Virginia.
It's Virginia.
Yeah.
And if you say West Virginia within the confines of the city limits, you just may be shot like a deer.
Well, just so you know, here's a spoiler. It's in your little cartoon thing that we're talking about at the top of the show.
What, West Virginia?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. If it is, then somebody's done something wrong.
Well, I mean, I wrote it, so.
Oh, you wrote it. We're going to edit that shit out before publication.
What was funny, I knew you would laugh. I put it in all caps. WEST is in all caps. Like, I hope they leave that in. Knowing you, though, you'll have Dawkins rewrite it, and it'll be a fucking Hamilton show tune. Tony was waiting for his shot. Stupid ass.
So anyway, no one knows. Really, you have got to see Craigsville to believe where I came from.
Right.
I took Matt there years ago, and he went, I can't believe this. This is back in the WCW days. So I thought it may be a good idea for us to go there and just videotape some of that redneck shit for people to see it themselves. Okay.
I think we need it.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I really do, because it's just, I mean, we can talk to some of my teachers. We can talk to, I've still got the best man at my wedding still lives there in his mobile home. He's lived there forever, right behind his mom's house. Had no desire to leave Craigsville, Virginia. I'm thinking, good God, we've got to get out of here, Kenny.
Why? Now, why do you hate where you grew up, bud?
I didn't hate where I grew up, but I knew that I had to get out of there. I knew I had to. I don't know. I don't know what you call it, cabin fever, whatever. I just knew that growing up that was not the life for me. I just knew that I had something else. I didn't know what it would be. I was hoping it would be baseball at one time. Had no idea it was going to be wrestling.
Right.
But I knew, I just knew, and I had great friends there. And I grew up in the same house, lived in the same house from the time I was born to the time I went to college. Until I met Lois in 81, I lived in that same house. So just, it's unbelievable. So anyway, that's an idea.
No, I'm for it. I think I'd like to go. I mean, what are you doing this weekend?
No, we need to wait till the pandemic has subsided.
Hey, those fellas been pandemic proof a long time.
Oh yeah, man. That moonshine and all that Miller Lite, whew, take it right out of you. Here we go, baby. Bring on the man.
Chief Wahoo McDaniel, good to see you.
It's good to be back, Tony. But I could have been overhearing Mr. Garvin say that I got beached up here last week. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Garvin. It's very easy to get on TV and say bad things about people and say that you want your hands on them and say that you want to beat them and you want to wrestle them, that you're looking for the biggest and the baddest, when you know that I'm 1,000 to 2,000 miles away from here. Well, today he said he was out chasing me. Well, I'm going to tell you something. When he heard that I was going to be here, he was out in the parking lot and they took security guards to get him back in the building. But I want to tell you one thing. I'm not the biggest and I'm not the baddest. But I want to say one thing. I've ended a few careers before they got started. And I know what you've got in mind. He's coming here, and he thinks if he gets in here and beats me, then he's going to be the big cheese. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm coming back. I've been gone for a while. I need to prove myself. So I'll tell you what. Sign your name anywhere, anytime, Garvin. And you bring that little snotty-nosed girl with you. Because I'll tell you one thing. Sometimes the Indian's not a real gentleman.
All right, Chief Wahoo McDaniel, let's go to the ring. In the ring,
I'll tell you one thing.
Sometimes the Indian is not a real gentleman. I know that one for a fact.
What, you saw him not be such a gentleman sometimes?
I heard about it. I was there that night, and then I missed it. Yeah.
Well, what'd you hear?
Well, you're going to have to go to buttsandseatscomic.com.
Got it.
And it's part of the it's part of one of the bonus stories. My night with Wahoo. So,
I like that you're always selling.
Yeah. I wonder who I learned that from.
Isn't it great that our listeners haven't had to hear a goddamn thing about StarCast in years at this point?
Yeah, it's going to rebound. You know that. And
really, you think so?
Well, it's up to you.
If we do more, we're going to do one more just to bring ad-free shows to the stage, and then I'm done. I'm out of the convention business. We got too much going on now, Tony.
Yeah. Give it to somebody else.
Yeah,
to run it for you, but not Silva.
You know, I'll tell you about that off air, but
okay,
that'll probably happen.
Okay.
I've already got.
Yeah, you got a good staff.
Well, no, more than that. Like I got people in the convention space who are like, "Hey, we want to do this with you," and I'm like, "Motherfucker, you're gonna be doing it for me. You got no time. I'll sell it. And you do it."
Yeah. Yeah. Because
when are we going to Virginia? I want to go to.
On our side, I can personally attest to this man's strength. I felt that chop. They can take anybody apart. There's a lot of people around here doing a whole lot of talking. Well, a lot of people saying what they're going to do. Well, the one man talking about me is Nikita Koloff. Well, I'm tired of all the talking. I'm tired of all the promises you make. The only promise I want is for you to get in that ring. You to get in that ring, and you and I get it on for the championship, the United States heavyweight belt. Now, you say you need a special stipulation on that spot. A Russian chain match will be fine with me. You say that's your match, it'll be your chance to embarrass me. Well, give it your best shot. Try to embarrass me. It's time for all the talking to stop and the action to take place. Let's get it on, Nikita.
Magnum T.A. and Chief Wahoo McDaniel, don't you go away.
Golly, Magnum was an underrated promo, dude.
Oh, man.
Everything was believable.
Yes.
He brought the intensity.
Yes. He and Wahoo had a great program when Wahoo turned heel in 85. Great program.
You want to listen to this or should we just talk over it?
We can talk over it.
So we got Nikita out here wearing his fucking sweater, doing his little staring contest. He's doing all but making kissy faces to Miss Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Ivan Koloff here with a diaper on his head where he's done blade jobs all over the globe. Chat me up about what the interpersonal relationship was like with Nikita and Miss Alabama. Were they actually dating at this point, or is he still trying to get her attention and they're doing the little courtship dance?
I think they're dating at this point.
Okay.
And I've told the story that I did set up their first date.
Yes. And we also took a little heat, by the way, when you told that story, because you said that Magnum T.A. told you that she was crazy.
Right.
And a lot of people took I shouldn't say a lot. A few people took great issue with the way you categorized her.
Really?
Said that, well, you're making fun of someone who had mental issues and blah, blah, blah. And we don't know that for sure. We just said, I'm
just recanting a story that Magnum told me.
Yeah.
And Magnum may have got the story wrong.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how people are overly sensitive? Like you didn't say she was. You said someone told you she was.
Yeah. Well, fuck those people.
Okay. Are they hell people?
No, they're pieces of shit.
Oh, wow.
They're POSs. Okay.
Coming in hot.
Yeah. Coming in hot. They were pieces of shit. Their parents were probably pieces of shit. Their grandparents probably pieces of shit. They probably went to piece of shit you.
That got you, didn't it?
It did.
You.
There's a shirt. Piece of shit university.
You do some dumb stuff here, right?
Wait, do we ever? Yeah, but fuck those people. Jesus, criminy. That's one thing that's probably the biggest downfall of Twitter. It's given idiots a platform. So fuck them. And now I'm getting hot. Chateauata. I tried to look up Chateauata.
It doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. I tried on Google Translate. I tried to.
Oh my God. No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
What a fucking mark you are.
I wanted to know what it meant because he kept saying it. And knowing how Nikita was about his gimmick and knowing how he was with kayfabe and everything, he probably looked up some Russian words.
Buddy, they didn't have Google back then.
Well, I know they didn't, but they probably had the World Book Encyclopedia. So I'm sure he learned. He probably called the Russian consulate. He said, "Give me it's Nikita. Give me a term, Chateauata."
I love you think he calls a government office and introduces himself as Nikita.
Well, I think he'd already changed his name by this time. He legally changed it from Scott Simpson to Nikita S. Koloff. And the reason I know was I remember him telling me he was going to do that. And then I remember him showing me the papers that legally changed his name to Nikita S. Koloff. And that's his real name. He put money into that. He actually put money into that to change his name. You can change your name if you want, but it costs you money like everything else.
Is it true that you once thought about changing your name to Wheezy F Baby? I was told that.
No, I was going to call myself Piece of Shit Tweeter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, POST.
I was thinking about being Hell Person Jones. Piece of shit tweeter. Chateauata. I don't know why that tickles me, but it does.
I looked it up. There's has to be, and I don't know what the letters in Russian mean. I don't know what their sounds mean, but there's got to be. And so I typed in English Chateauata and tried to do Russian translate. It didn't come up. And I'm thinking, am I spelling SHOAH?
What are you doing?
Chateauata, T.A.
You can stop this.
S-H-A, Chateau, T-O-E, Chateau, A-H, Ta, T-A. That's how you spell Chateauata.
Let's see what we got. Wait, can you do it with Siri? Why don't you say, "Hey Siri, what does Chateauata mean?"
I'll do it. Here we go.
Here we go.
Stand by. I'll ask Siri.
Hey, shut up, bitch. Hey Siri, shut up. We've become Jim Ross. What the fuck happened?
Okay, hang on a second. Hey Siri. What does Chateauata mean in Russian? Bitch, answer me. Let's try it again. Hey Siri. What does Chateauata mean in Russian?
What'd she say?
I don't know. Hang on a second.
Not all of our bits hit, guys. We're sorry.
That's part of being a goddamn entertainer, okay?
You know what's funny is every time you would say that phrase that you have to use to introduce your phone, my damn Apple Home thing here in the office keeps trying to answer you. And I'm like, I've got headphones on.
Hey, Siri. What does Chateauata mean in Russian? She must be looking it up. Who knows?
Roll the credits. We won't beat this. This is way more entertaining than this Ivan Koloff match. Sorry, Rocky Kernodle.
So if anybody out there knows what Chateauata means, let us know, unless you're a piece of shit tweeter. then we don't want to hear from you. We want you to crawl back in the hole you came from.
Shatoatai don't mean shit, bro.
That's probably what it means in Russian. What does Shatoatai mean? It means don't mean shit. Here's Rocky Kernodle. He used to be Keith Larson, but he became Don Kernodle's brother. Well, he was Don Kernodle's brother. Dude. It's funny that a lot of people called him Kernodle, and that was a Johnny Weaver thing. It called him Kernodle, and it kind of stuck. Boy, I was putting in some time here, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Man. Oh, here we go. Answer the Indian.
Track it. Here we go.
I heard the comments from Wahoo McDaniel.
You know, Tony, it's a good thing I didn't come out here and slap his face myself. I mean, really, talking about me like that.
I know, Precious. I know. I'm going to take care of him. I'm going to take care of him. I can't believe he don't know how to talk about a lady. Obviously, the man has no experience. I mean, everybody in the world can see that. And obviously, he's been eating the wrong kind of food and a whole lot of it. So now I got my work cut out for me now, don't I? Gorgeous Jimmy has conquered a lot of problems in his great and luxurious career.
That's right.
But this is going to be a problem that's going to take a little bit of work. I'm telling you right now. Do you know, sometimes I think to myself, I get so excited when I walk out here, Tony, because do you realize there's nobody in the world that can defeat Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin? Do you realize that you don't see Rusty or whatever. You don't see that guy that looks like a mouse out here. You don't see the guy with the stolen bird feathers sitting on his head. I don't know where he got those. Those are some, by the way, Wahoo, those are some real, truly bogus-looking feathers, let me tell you, Pally. You need to save your money and invest in some good-looking feathers, because those are some shabby. You must have been fishing or something in them feathers, son. I mean, after all, I don't know if I want to wrestle you, because you just look downright dirty. And after all, everybody knows Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin hates germs. Speaking of germs, that's a big 300-pound germ that I can see we're just going to have to spray the air for that germ there. Let me tell you. The fact is this, have I told you lately? It's not my fault that I'm the greatest wrestler in the world. And it's not my fault that I'm the best looking man that ever walked the face of the earth. But it's going to be my fault when I get hold of that stinking looking Indian. Let's get out of here, baby.
Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin with Precious. Don't you go away. We're coming right back.
Man, they're loading up the Garvin stuff on this show, are they not?
Yeah, they are. Here we go. Part 2.
Track it.
Mrs. C.G. Hutchison of Chattanooga Valley. 53 years of marriage today, and happy birthday that is to Shannon Manning of Omaha, Nebraska, who celebrated her birthday yesterday. Write to us. We'd love to hear from you. That address, 1250 South Palm International, Atlanta, 30303. Hello,
and
Jim
happy
Cornette.
anniversary to the Road Warriors. It was 10 years ago today. They graduated 6th grade for the 8th time. The Rock and Roll Express, they're a bunch of nappy-headed punks. Just like I told everybody, there's no team in wrestling that can beat the Midnight Express. Not the Road Warriors, $1 million bodies and 10-cent brains. Not the Rock and Roll Express. Not America's team. Nobody. Because we're the best there is, and we're going to win that Jim Crockett.
I know I'm a little new around here, but I think I understand what's going on now. When I got TV time, I don't want you coming out here getting in my face nor on my back. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of other people, just like myself, are getting tired of your 10 music. And because we don't really like this, you know what I'm saying? We don't like your boys, and especially you and my...
Yeah. Okay. What are you doing with me, big boy? Come on, Joe Collins. What are you doing?
Not today, baby. Not today. You get off more than you chew with us. Let's let this man right here. Tony.
Joe Nighthawk Coltrane and the Rock and Roll Express. Let's go to the ring.
Well, there you go.
There it was. Absolutely.
Well,
hey, pretty good show.
Nighthawk sucked, dude.
Oh, of course he did.
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Yeah. There's a lot about Brodie Chase here. It looks like Dick Slater. Well, never mind.
Yeah,
he did from afar. He did from afar there, but
dude, look at. Tell me again.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about this recently on the show. Mm-hmm. Look at the way he's working him. It's Taz.
Sure it is.
A little tanner, skin that head, put on a singlet.
Probably not as neurotic.
But I'd say, Pete, that was Tony. Wasn't me.
We say it in a loving way.
It's all Tony, Pete.
Oh God. Oh God.
Did I ever tell you the first time I said that to him?
Really? What did he say?
Who the fuck is Pete?
I thought you were going to say you called him neurotic.
No. Who the fuck is Pete? Who the fuck is this Pete you keep talking about? Fucking Taz, 1Z. Fucking Mark.
Oh God.
I know
one of my joys in life was being able to work with him. It really is. He's the gift that keeps on giving. He is. And every time he sees me, he rolls his eyes like, "Oh, what the fuck do you want?" It's just hilarious.
He's the best.
Yeah, and he says things that just kill me, just make me laugh out loud. It's always an LOL moment when you're around him. It really is. Good hire. Great hire by AEW.
Everybody likes him.
Oh yeah. Well, yes, everybody likes him. Even his kid, which I don't get it.
Why are you laughing at me saying everybody likes him?
Yeah. Well, you're right. You're right. Everybody likes him. Anyway, everybody liked Ronnie Garvin too.
Folks, have you ever seen a 63-year-old backpedal? Because you just did here on advocations.com. All we were lacking was the whistle being blown.
Oh God. See, I tell you, he's the gift that keeps on giving. You start talking about him on your podcast and you just enjoy the moment. Hey, Ronnie Garvin, what a win. All right, let's go to this.
Tournament, Arn Anderson, World TV Champion, Tully Blanchard.
Question. What would you rather do for the rest of your life? Would you rather stand around and punch your fist against a wall, trying to toughen it up so maybe you can knock somebody out? Or would you like the job of getting a little polish and a nice soft rag and polishing this up because you're already a champion and you've already beat everybody?
You know, Tony Schiavone, I like the way you said number 4 seeds, although everybody knows that the world television champion, Arn Anderson, and the national heavyweight champion, Tully Blanchard, should be the number 1 seed, but that's fine. We'll take 4, just as long as we walk out number 1 at the end of the tournament in New Orleans. But, you know, the thing that I like most right now, Dusty Rhodes doesn't come out here on TV because he doesn't have nothing to talk about. He likes to talk about things in the past like that's going to mean something. Former world's television champion, former national heavyweight champion, and Dusty Rhodes, you are one of the great ones, yes, former world's heavyweight champion 2 years ago. But Dusty Rhodes, you can't rest on your laurels. You're fighting a battle now and you want to go get Wahoo McDaniel's, bring his big strap back. Well, that's fine. You bring the strap, you bring the bull rope, because this man right here and myself don't take step backwards for nobody.
You know, Tony Schiavone, Dusty Rhodes is the number 1 contender in the world for every major title, but he's not a champion of anything. So bring one.
We'll see you next week on World Championship Wrestling.
Oh, you're doing.
What a poorly timed end right there.
You're not kidding.
I mean, I hate that of all the things we could have cut off on that show, we cut off Arn Anderson talking.
Yeah, we should have cut off JJ.
We had multiple Nighthawk promos. We had multiple Jimmy Garvin promos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we could have cut Paul Jones anytime we wanted. I don't know. Feels like we should have cut something. But that Ronnie Garvin one was a throwaway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have liked a little more Arn there. By the way, I guess we should give everybody a heads up as we're starting to wind down this week's show. You and we went from, hey, what are we going to do about 1986 to we've talked ourselves up enough here. I don't care what happens with the network. We're still going to just waller in some JCP. And then when the feed comes back and we'll be fine. Right, Tony?
I think so. I think we're going to be fine. And who knows? You got a kind of like a little bit of a snippet of some information that eventually it all will be on the cock. I was really concerned that they would say, fuck it, we don't need that stuff, because and obviously we know the current stuff is what runs the engine there, and I get that. But I'm glad to see that it's going to be there. I was hoping that they would have both up at the same time. That there would be a link on the Peacock. If you want to see the old stuff, go back here, because it's there somewhere. It's on a server somewhere, right?
Here's the thing. They are going to have that,
right?
Because people internationally, they don't have cock over there. So they're still going to have regular network. And I think we've actually got some sponsors here. We can just make our computers think we're in fucking, Zimbabwe and still get the network.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey, real fast before we get going, I want to give everybody a heads up too. As you're listening to this, later this week, we're going to have the very first sit down with Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross to do alternate commentary on WrestleMania 3's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental Championship. We're also going to be dropping a very special retrospective where we take a look at Title Chase, and we really hone in on the importance and the significance of the belt from that match. But to go back and watch that match and not have the original commentary, which I admit was great, but now you hear it from Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone, that should be pretty fun.
It was, I had a really great time doing it, and I didn't know what to expect, but Jim was really into it, and it was really, really good. So
it's going to be fantastic. Next week, we'll be back with another version of that same thing, WrestleMania alternate commentary as we sort of march towards WrestleMania season. We'll have the ladder match from WrestleMania 10 with Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels. Again, alternate commentary with Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone. And then, of course, actual WrestleMania week, we'll go back and take a look at WrestleMania 30. And we'll have alternate commentary from JR and Tony on the streak ending. Brock Lesnar picking up the big win over The Undertaker. Some of that stuff you've probably never seen before, right?
No, I'd never seen it. And again, I think it's been well established here on the podcast, and thank you for this, that I missed so much. And I'm gone back and looked at some of the real good stuff, because there's always good throughout the years. There's good, great, and bad stuff, but we've looked at the great stuff and really just love what I've been watching. So,
well, we're having a lot of fun here talking 1986 Jim Crockett Promotions. We're going to keep the fun going next week, but for right now, Tony, it feels like it's about that time.
And we come to you live now here on What Happened When. We are in South Carolina on a lot. It looks like a sales. It's a Nissan lot that we're on. And at the podium right now is the Patriot Dale Wilkes, and he is talking to all of his followers here on his podcast. And let's go on the count. 1, 2, 3. Yes, there are 4 people here in attendance listening to what he's got to say. Oh, meanwhile, from behind, here comes Taz with a clothesline. Boom! Down he goes. And Taz looks him in the face and says, "Fuck you, you mock." We're desperately out of time. We'll see you next week on What Happened When. We come to you each and every Wednesdays on the Conrad Thompson's Network on Westwood One. But Mondays we come to you on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday, or of course, adfreeshows.com.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.